Hello and welcome to Noninkables. This is podcast number 8 of season 2, and this past week I released part 1 of the comprehensive rules. It's a 7-part series that goes over all the comprehensive rules for Lorcana, and then we will also be doing like the tournament rules and the play corrections, which is like what happens when you are naughty. And so those will be coming out shortly. I think this week I will be able to release part 2 and part 3 of the comprehensive rules, and maybe part 4, depends on how fast I can be editing. There was someone who commented like, hey, I wish these were all released together, and I do too. But I'm trying to make the videos, I'm trying to like at least type a little bit so that it's just not me rambling like the podcast is. And so there's like a little bit of editing that goes in. And also, spoiler alert, if you ever want to read the comprehensive rules, you can just read them from the Lorcana website. So yeah, that is a series that I have embarked on, and it has been quite interesting, I think. Definitely important just so people can't rule shark you because you know the rules. And interesting for me because I thought that I knew the rules, but there were some things that I didn't know. And I think part of it also helps make certain rulings make sense. And so I basically read through all the comprehensive rules. I try to give examples where I have examples. There's also examples in the comprehensive rules. So we go over those so that hopefully in the future we don't get rule sharked. They'll try to rule shark us and I'll be like, no, I know the rules. So that is what was released this past week. I also released part 2 of an unboxing that I did of some first chapter cards. There is one more part. So it was technically a case, but I kind of got the big hit card in box and got really excited and stopped filming after that. And so Boxer will be released on the 19th. So on Wednesday, it's a pretty short video because after the exciting part, I just cut it off because I was like, this, whatever. And then of course, like when I was doing the unboxing, I think the first one and maybe the second one, I like talked through, and the third one, I was like, I'm going to be so cool. It's going to be ASMR. And of course, it's the only one where I was like, I need to scream because it was such an exciting pull. And if you watch my unboxings, I don't get excited very often. So it's a good one. Stay tuned for that. And then let's see. So that is what came out this past week. This past week, I also got my Kanto forged frames. So I will be talking about these. Oh my goodness, I have like a huge pile of them. I will be talking about these more in like their own video. But for all our so we have, I think, all the enchanted cards now that have been released, mostly through opening packs, sometimes a lot of them through, I would say, trading. So I think for set 4, and before I had like a really good rate of getting enchanted, it was like 2 per case. Set 5 was horrendous, and I think I was getting like 1 every 2 cases. And then set 6 has kind of been like, set 6 has been weird. So we've been getting a lot from like random stuff. So like, for example, yesterday, Brian pulled a enchanted from like, we won some stuff for like, it was sort of like related to Pack Rush. We'll talk about it. And then I got an enchanted from one of the set champs as part of the packs that you win at the end. And then I feel like we get a lot from like that kind of stuff. And then we traded for a lot LCQ. But for all of the enchanteds, I have bought Kanto Forge frames. So you can kind of see them like on the wall there. It's blurry. But those I bought a while ago. And then since they've updated their things and I've gotten more cards, I've gotten more. So like, for example, this is the Scrooge. So it takes your enchanted card and it puts it into a frame that's like more, because I feel like a lot of times if you just frame the enchanted card, like it makes the card look really small, whereas these are like extended arts. So I think they look really cool. So like this is they also have them for like the set champ cards. This is like the Ursula one. I can get this in focus. I feel like I have to be like, I'm a makeup person. It's also just really shiny, especially with the ring light. And then like this is Mickey Mouse Sorcerer. So it just takes the art and makes it look bigger. So then when you put it up, it's like this. I got these. So the ones I have on my wall were screw, like connected by screws. And it was like difficult to screw because you have to screw through the paper. And so I felt that like moved the paper and it was hard to align the card perfectly because a lot of the lines like match up. Whereas these ones are magnetic. They actually have more layers than the screw ones. It's like 3 layers of, what is this, plexiglass type thing, versus the just 2 layers in the screw one. So eventually I'm gonna have to reorganize this because I had organized it by color, but I think I'm gonna organize it by set. And then I didn't buy any for set 6 because it's all of it is like that, I don't know, like cartographer, like brown paper background, right, for the Enchanteds. And so I was thinking maybe I could make something cool that's like cartography-y, like make it look like a map or a scroll or something. But that's like one of the many DIY craft plans I have. But yeah, I got those frames this week. And then this week we didn't actually, so we didn't play in any of our local league like during the week. But this weekend was also like Valentine's Day, and then Disney did that Valentine's Pack Rush thing. And so on Saturday we went and played Pack Rush at NorCal TCG and at Games of Martinez. Pretty much we went to NorCal, played Pack Rush, and then left and then went to Games of Martinez, which is pretty close, and played Pack Rush there. I think it's pretty funny that Martinez has, I think, like 3 game shops. It actually probably, I think, has another one, but they've kind of been blacklisted by Lorcana people because I think they took a lot of pre-orders that they didn't have allocation for. It was a whole drama. Anyways, I think that one's also in Martinez, but there's so many game stores in Martinez. So we went to NorCal, played there. Our pulls from those, I think the best card we got was a foil Hades Double Dealer, legendary. And then our cards at Martinez were similar, not great. But it was fun to play Pack Rush, and it was 1 pack of Inklands and 1 pack of Ursula's Return, and it was free. And then on Sunday, we played at Fanimich, and they did something a little different with their packs. So all the stores got 1 box of Inklands and 1 box of Ursula's Return. And then they could either give them out for free for Pack Rush, or they could do like another event as long as it was also free. And so Fanimich did a constructed tournament. I think it was maybe a little confusing for people because a lot of people who showed up did not know that it was a constructed tournament. Luckily, a lot of them brought decks. However, there were some like little kids who thought it was Pack Rush and it wasn't Pack Rush, and then they couldn't play because they'd never played before, which was kind of sad. I wish that they'd just given them packs. But basically, Fanimich ended up doing a tournament where they split the 2 boxes between the top 8. It was a little confusing because they called it Valentine's Pack Rush Tournament, which makes you think maybe it's like a Pack Rush, and then you just do a tournament. But then if you look at the rules, it was like core constructed structure, Swiss rounds, best of 3 matches, and then the prizing was top 8 splits, the 1 booster box of Inklands and 1 booster box of Ursula's Return. So for that tournament, I finally brought Hyper Aggro because I feel like all of set champs, I was like, I'm gonna bring Hyper Aggro, it's gonna be great. And then every time I would chicken out. And so during set champs, I played Green Steel and I played DKP's Red Blue, and that was it. And every single time I didn't do well, I was like, I'm gonna bring Hyper Aggro. Or even if I did well, I was like, I'm tired of thinking I'm gonna bring Hyper Aggro. And I got scared. But this time I was like, it's a free event. It's like low stakes. I'm just gonna bring Hyper Aggro. And I got so lucky with like who I matched up against that it actually worked out quite well. So there was a little bit of drama when we started. I mean, I was also part of the drama. So we stopped, like, first I went to get boba beforehand, and I was like, I have time. And then I just walked in, and I forgot to check in, and I didn't check in on Melee. And so they dropped me from the event. And so they did the pairings, and I was like, oh, I'm not even on this pairing list. And so they had to, like, put me back in, repair, right? And then that's when it kind of, like, that's when everyone realized it was constructed. And so then they had to drop the 2 little kids and somebody else, I think, who didn't have a deck, and then repair again. And, like, the first pairing, I was not in it, right? The second pairing, I paired against somebody who had just learned to play like the day before because we had seen him at NorCal TCG, and he was still sleeving his like set 2 starter deck. And I was like, oh, this is going to be great. He's still sleeving like the Tiana Merlin Purple Steel starter deck from set 2. And I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be so easy because it's somebody who just learned how to play. And then they repaired again. And then I paired into Kenneth, who's playing red purple, and he is the one who beat me at set champs at Fanimich with that red purple deck. And I was like, oh, great. Now I'm going to have to like think. But also, like, kind of not that bad because I'm playing aggro and he's playing red purple. And I think when I had played him at Phantom, maybe he didn't have Flins or he didn't have 4 Flins anyway. So I was like, I'm probably okay. Also, I have Befuddle in my deck if he plays a Flynn. So I played against Kenneth. I lost the die roll on the first game, like best of 3, right? So I lost the die roll. So first game I went second, but I ended up winning because he kind of, well, okay, so I got 2 lore, he was at 1 lore, and then I went to 9 lore and he was at 3. And then in the end I won, he had like 8 lore, so I think he bricked a little bit. The second game, I was on the draw and I lost. I got to 5th, but then it was just like too much ink, too much stuff. Nothing I put down survived. And anytime he needed a brawl for Tiana, he drew a brawl for Tiana. And I'll include the deck I played. So I played a deck by Dat Platypus. I did not buy the guide because I was like, oh, I'm just playing a free thing. I don't really care. But he does have a guide for it. I did watch the video that he has that accompanies the deck. And then Brian laughed at me. He was like, are you watching a video on how to play hyper aggro? And I was like, yeah. I need to know what to do after turn 4 because if I haven't won by turn 4, I don't actually know what to do with hyper aggro because it's not just put stuff down, turn sideways. There's actually like a little bit of difficulty for it. But that game, every time I played Tiana, he could brawl it. And then I remember my hand being like 3 Baloos, 2 Tianas, gathering knowledge and wisdom. And I was like, why do I not have ink? Or like, I don't think I saw a 1-drop. I had a Befuddle. That was my only 1-drop that I kept. I mulliganed 6. Didn't see any 1-drops. And then didn't see any more 1-drops for, I think, like 3 or 4 turns, which is crazy because the deck has like a bazillion 1-drops. But then the last game, I got to go first. So, I mean, aggro did aggro things. I had a Daisy, which is what I wanted. And then I think I had a Daisy, and then I think I had I drew into like another Daisy and a Lilo or something, and then I got a Bodyguard, and then, it just did its thing. So I beat Kenneth, round 1. And then round 2, I matched into Alex, who was also playing red purple, and I won the die roll, so already a win for me. The first game, I won, and he was at 13, so let's see. I took the lead, but then his Flynn triggered, so he went from 1 to 4. And then it was like I had 8 points. He had 8 lore. He had 6, and then 12 to 9, and then 15 to 13. And then I just put down a bunch of stuff, and he didn't have any answers. Second game, I lost, and it was like very close, like uncomfortably close. He just had answers for all my stuff, but it was like 6 to 4. And then I got to 12, and he was at 5. And then it was like 13 to 8, and then 15 to 10, and then 15 to 15, and then that was it for me. And then the last game, I was on the play, and he only got to 10, and I got to 20. It's like 2, 7, 9, 15, 17, 19, 20. So it was very like, I think the last lore I got, I had a goat in hand and only 3 ink, and then I drew a white rose, so it was like, whatever, win either way. Round 3, I played Luis, who was on red-blue, DKP's deck, and I had played him the past week at NorCal. We had done a mirror of DKP versus DKP, and I think he'd beat me. And so he was like shuffling, he was like, oh, is it going to be a mirror? And I was like, I don't think so. I'm playing something random. I won the die roll, which was great. And then the first game was crazy, okay, because I'm hyper aggro, right? Our ending lore was 20 to 19. Me winning, but like what that is insane. So let's see, went from 1 to 5, he got 2 lore. I think he attacked something with a goofy. Went to 9, he got 4, so he attacked something else with a goofy. Went to 12, and then 14, he was at 6, and I went back down to 12, which means he played Pirate's Life, right? And then he was at 9, and then I think he played Pirate's Life again, and at that point he had a Maui shark on the field, so he sang a Pirate's Life, I think, and also casted a Pirate's Life, because I went down to 10. I went from 14 to 10, and he went from 6 to 12. So that's definitely a Maui shark on the board, right? And so, like, I'm thinking, Maui shark on the board, I should be dead. And then I went to 12 lore. He was at 14. And then 13 to 15, right? I'm losing. I'm thinking I'm going to lose. And then I think at that point, I think the the way he got to 15 lore was because he was forced to B prep my whole board because I went pretty wide, and I had a goat, so I went to 13, and then he had a mouse shark and he played B prep, so he went to 15. And then it was like 14, 16 for me, and then he went to 17. I think he played a McDuck Manor, which I ignored. I just quested. And then it was 18 for me, him at 17. And then I think I played something to get to 19, right? And he went to 19 because of McDuck Manor. And then I think I top decked a goat and won. Oh, and it was like, I was like, what is happening? I'm supposed to win a long time ago. So I'm surprised that I lasted through a Maui shark. Second round, I was on the draw, and it was once again neck and neck, and I was doing pretty good. I got to like 15. It was like 15 versus 15. And then I was like, oh, I can win next turn because I had like, I think Gathering and like a goat or something. And then he played Pirate's Life, so then I went down to 13, and then it was kind of game over for me, and he won. And then the last game, I was on the play, and I went to 21 lore, and he got 0. And Hyper Aggro finally did Hyper Aggro things. And then the last round, I matched into Tyler playing Purple Steel, which is not good. Anything steel for me was not good. And I luckily, through the first 3 rounds, avoided all the Amber Steel that was being played, because there was like Diggy Hole, regular Amber Steel. I think there was like maybe a Blue Steel. I missed the Green Steel. I was so lucky. And I played Tyler. He was on Purple Steel, the Tinc version, no docs. I lost the die roll, which not great for me. First game, I was on the draw. I got to 16, and then he went super wide and just won. And I couldn't deal with it. Second game, I was on the play, and I won. It was 19-9. 20-9 technically. And then the last game I was on the draw, and again I got to like 15 lore, and he was at 16. And then, you know, he has steel stuff, so it gets rid of all my stuff. And then after we finished, everybody was like, oh, why'd you guys play? You could have just ID'd, because the pricing for the top 8 was the same, so it didn't matter your placement. So everybody on the table next to us played, and then everybody else just ID'd so that they would be top 8. And then we were like, oh, we didn't even think about that. And so Tyler ended up first. I ended up second. I think Brian ended up 5th. And then Gary ended up 9th, right outside of top 8. But yeah, I was like, yay, I finally like did well playing not my hyper aggro, but a hyper aggro deck. So that was very exciting. And then we ended up getting 3 packs of Inklands and 3 packs of Ursula's Return. And Brian pulled an enchanted wall. The wall. So an enchanted boat, like, not great. Not great. I think it's like $30. But yeah, so that was very exciting. And what else? Okay, so this coming week, I'm going to publish part 2 and part 3 of the comprehensive rules. Maybe part 4 if I have time. And then I'm going to do some more of the Chinese unboxing videos. Although yesterday I did get very excited and opened some packs without filming them. And I did pull an enchanted Mickey Mouse Artful Rogue, and also like 2 Mauis and a Be Prepared. And the Be Prepared, it's called like Quite some Bei, which kind of means like quick, get ready, which I guess is technically Be Prepared. But yeah, so I will be posting those. And I figured out, well, if you watch my unboxing videos, I now have the setup where it's like face camera and then like matte camera and then like close up of my hand camera. So I will be doing that. I also this weekend got some Japanese cards because a bunch of people were opening Japanese cards, and then one of the guys like had a bunch that he didn't want, and I was like, oh, I'll take them. Yeah, for free. I'll take free cards. I mean, they are like all the commons and like uncommons, so bulk cards. But there were some like foils and stuff, which is pretty exciting. Look at how many he gave me for free. And so maybe I'll do like a comparison of the Japanese and Chinese cards. Yeah, like I have this Prince Eric for free. I don't know if I'll ever play him. But yeah, so I have a bunch of Japanese cards now for free. There was a Friends on the Other Side in there, so that card I already put in my Hyper Aggro deck, which I don't know why I did that, because I'm going to disassemble it like now, because we're kind of into the new cards season, right? And they've released so many cards this past week. I have not kept up at all. And then people keep asking me like, oh, what do you think of this card? And I was like, I haven't even looked at any of the new cards. All I know is there's a Sapphire Coil, which looks kind of crazy. And then I know there's a Matchmaker card. from Mulan. And I was like, what if I cosplay as matchmaker for one of the DLCs this year? And then partway through the match, I just drawn the mustache. Yeah. And then for my Chinese cards, I have started organizing them. So I'm using like the binders that I used before for the English cards, which have now been moved to like the Lorcana official binders. But these are my Chinese cards. My set is actually, so I've opened one slim box and 3 regular boxes, booster boxes. And my set is almost complete. I'm not missing very many cards. I know you can't see it. It's the effect of the blur. My face is not in it. Anyways, but I'm not missing that many cards, which is pretty cool. And then I do want to show off my one Mickey Mouse Enchanted. Can you see it? No. But I did find it interesting. So I think a lot of the American cards, when you open them, like when you get the enchanted and stuff, they're like a little warped, like not super flat. But the Chinese one was super flat. And I don't know if that's the way they pack it or what, but that was kind of different from the American ones. And so, yeah, that I think is it. Check out our store. I did post a bunch of new cards for Ursula's Return and then some Azurite Sea stuff. And then I did go through because like we have the DLC promo Rapunzel. So then I listed some of our regular Rapunzels and then we bought some Enchanted Ursula cards. So then I listed the foil ones. And so those are there. And then our extra Enchanteds are there. And then I don't know if I'm ever going to sell the Chinese cards or if there will be, because I feel like it's kind of hard to sell them on TCG Player because then most of the listings I've seen have been like they have like a picture of the card and then it says like Chinese on it. But I feel like they should somehow make it a way that you can like search for just a different language card, and I haven't really figured out how to list those. But eventually, I'll probably also list Chinese cards. And then the other thing is my hyper aggro deck this weekend. So usually, I feel like Brian and I like to play like foiled out decks or like max rarity decks. But this time, I decided to do a non-foil. I also had yellow sleeves, so I was like, it's perfect for my little hyper aggro deck. I did a non-foil hyper aggro deck, and then it has French cards and it has Chinese cards, and now it also has one Japanese card. And so, like for example, my Donald here, I've got, it's gonna be weird, you can't even read it. So, oh, these both are French, but I've got French Donald and then like French Gathering. I have Chinese Pascal, aka Pascal. Pascal, my bad. And then I've got like Chinese Maleficent or He Po. It's just so funny. And then Chinese Befuddle, which is like Sun. Oh, I still need to look up some of the words before I record my next Chinese unboxing so that I don't sound so dumb. But yeah, it's been a fun week, and like I feel like the team did really well at Phantom Itch. Oh, I do feel bad for Alex. So the person I played in round 2 who was on Red Purple, he played me, Gary, and Brian during the 4 rounds, and I think he lost to all of us, and I feel bad. I played Hyper Aggro, Yellow Purple. Tyler played Purple Steel. Brian played Green Steel, but he made some tweaks that were like not good tweaks. So I think that hurt him, but he still got 5th, so like still a really good result. Gary played Green Blue, I want to say. I think he played Green Blue. It's hard to say because I kept seeing him play Red Steel, but I think that was the other deck he brought that he was just playing for funsies. Our friend Mike played Gary's Red Blue deck because Mike thought it was a pack rush and didn't bring a deck, so then he just borrowed one of Gary's. But yeah, it was pretty fun, and I don't even know what we're going to do for next week. Like, I wasn't even expecting to play any Lorcana, and I was expecting to have, like, nothing to talk about because I didn't think I was going to play any Lorcana this week just because I feel like everyone is concentrating on the new cards, and so it's kind of boring to play the old cards, and the new cards are coming out so soon. I guess there's actually still, like, a good 2-3 weeks left in this set, but I feel like everyone is just thinking about the new cards and what decks they're going to make. I still really want to make a theme deck, and I know I want to play a theme deck. I feel like it would be so fun, but also like winning is also very fun, and I don't want to lose. And so, yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is always the conflict for me. I want to play a theme deck that's fun, like a Mulan deck or a princess deck or a Madrigal deck or like a puppy deck or a duck deck or something, you know? I think that would be really, or a villains deck or a deck with just big butts. I tried to make like a big bro butt deck and use like Chen Po and Lawrence and like Baymax, but it wasn't good. Yeah, I feel like one side of me is always like, I want to play a fun themed deck, and the other side is like, but you don't like losing, you want to win. And I don't think not really any of our locals do like themed deck type things. Like I think I've heard on some other podcasts, there are people who like their local league does the like, if you wear a Disney shirt, you get an extra league point, or if you blah, blah. And like, I also don't have time to go to like a league every week on the same day because my schedule's kind of crazy. And then also most of our places just do like constructed tournaments for league every week. Yeah, so I really want to play a theme deck, but I also want to win. It's a tough spot, man. And I feel like with new cards, I'm always like, ooh, maybe I can play a Madrigal deck now that's yellow-purple. Especially with the dual ink cards, I'm like, ooh, maybe I can play a Mulan deck that's red steel or a pirate deck. But I also don't want to lose. I want to win. I want to be good at this game. So it's always a conundrum. I may just need to make like a second Lorcanito account maybe just to play my fun decks in casual. Or I guess I could just play them in casual with my regular account. But yeah. So that is it for me this week. Keep an eye out for those comprehensive rules videos. And then also unboxing and also the video about the Kanto Forge frames. All right, that is it for me. As always, think before you ink and keep shuffling. Hopefully you don't end up with a whole handful of non-inkables. Oh, and like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, you know, those YouTube-y things. Or if you're listening to this on Spotify, I don't know if there's an interactive thing on Spotify. Okay, that's it for me. Bye.